Hi everybody, Dave Bozanico here, and welcome to day 5 of our 30-day self-motivation challenge. Today what I want to talk about is the idea of how you can win the day and how that helps you improve your self-motivation. Now let me ask you, did you know that just 30 minutes of exercise in the morning can improve your mood for up to 12 hours throughout the rest of the day? It's like a natural pick-me-up for the brain. Today we're going to talk about how you can feel like you've won every single day, how you can feel like a winner every single day before your workday even begins. Here's how. Now, before I get started, I want to tell you, whenever my son's girlfriend comes over to the house for the last 10 years, she's always asked me, "Hey Dave, did you win today?" And it's because of this t-shirt. This is a t-shirt that I had made up when I first started getting serious about running, and it reminded me that it wasn't about the long-term journey that I was focusing on. It was about focusing on every single day, and it was my mantra. It was, today I win, I will finish what I started, I will reach my goal. And whenever things felt like they were getting hard, I would just say that mantra in my head. I would keep moving forward, and it really seemed to work for me. But today what we're going to be talking about is not just a mindset, but we're going to be talking about how you can feel like you belong and fit into the fitness community. And it's all backed on science. And let me tell you how that works. Coming up, we're going to talk about how you can feel like a winner every single day, regardless of your current physicality. And that's going to help you stay self-motivated to want to keep moving forward. Now, a quick story. When I was in between my first and second Ironman, I had learned about heart rate training. That is training in a target heart rate zone for your aerobic capacity. But I really hadn't understood the science specifically that was being built around that concept. So I actually secured a contract with our local school board. I went out and purchased 30 spin bikes, and I would take those in a trailer to high schools for a week, and I would set them up every morning in the gym, and I would teach 3 to 4 spin classes throughout the day, and I would talk about heart rate monitors and how you can, work out to your target heart rate zone regardless of what your physicality is and feel good about yourself for the rest of the day. And during one of these classes, one of the special ed teachers came to me and said, "Hey, I can see that you've got a little bit of space in this one class in the morning. Would you mind if I brought my students in to participate in this class?" And I said, "Absolutely." So she brought her students in, and these were students who were attention deficit disorder students, maybe a little bit disruptive in the school, but she wanted to get them onto those spin bikes, and she wanted them just to move their legs for that 30 to 40 minutes of that class. And after she was done, she said, "Have you read the book Spark yet?" And I said, "Never heard of it." And she said, "I'm going to bring you something tomorrow." And she brought me this book. It's called Spark, and it's written by Dr. John Ratty. And the whole idea behind this book is there is a whole scientific group and body of people who understand that it's not just about being the top athlete who's going to benefit from exercise. It is working out, the idea of training or working out every day to your current physicality, to your current ability, that's going to make all the difference. So the enlightening part of this book wasn't just that, some great things happen when you exercise. It was about the mindset of the person doing the exercise and having them understand that it's really more about, being your best potential today and how you find that out. And the long and short of the story is that the phys ed teacher, by coincidence, ran a very, very strict fitness program at his high school. And he found that a lot of the students who were less physical, that they sort of couldn't keep up with the real physical athlete types in the class. And he said, previously I would have told that student, "Come on, get your butt in gear. Let's get going here. Come on, pick it up." But then he went to a trade show, and this is when the first sort of entry-level heart rate monitors were coming out onto the market. And he took one of those heart rate monitors and put it on one of his students. And this student, when she was done her 30 minutes of exercise, he looked at the numbers from the heart rate monitor, and he was absolutely blown away, because for her age, her maximum heart rate was 209 beats per minute, and she was hovering somewhere around 180. So she was actually really kicking ass for her current physicality. But he didn't know that, and he didn't see that, because without that heart rate monitor, he just thought that she was just sort of sloughing her way through the class. She looked like she could have been fitter. She looked like she could have been moving faster. And the old gym teacher would have said, hey, come on, let's go, get it going. Not realizing that she was actually putting out more effort than even most physical athletes that he had in his class. So what he learned was that by paying attention to what's happening on the inside, that can help give the student the motivation to believe in themselves, that they are actually feeling like they belong, they're actually doing their best. And there's actually, if you've ever heard of Orange Theory Fitness, that's a whole fitness studio that's a national chain that's all built on the same premise of working to your target heart rate, working to your current physicality, and looking for improvements day to day. So what I want to talk about today are some of the fundamentals that they learned from this study, and how once you understand those fundamentals, that's going to help you on a day-to-day basis feel like a winner, even on day one. Even if you've never done any exercise before, if you hate exercise and have no motivation to get started, this is going to put you in a framework, a mindset, so that you can start feeling like you're moving forward every single day in a really positive way. So let's jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is exercise and neuroplasticity. Essentially what that means is when you exercise and you're in your target heart rate zone for 30 minutes, and that's anywhere between 60 and 80% of your maximum heart rate zone, and there's some math that goes along with that. It's 220 minus your age times either 60% or 80%. That takes you to sort of your zone between 60 and 80% of where your heart rate should be. You can do something simple as doing a pulse check for 10 seconds, multiplying that by 6. That will tell you where you are. Or you can wear a heart rate monitor. Your Apple Watch, if you have an Apple Watch, will tell you that. I have some sophisticated triathlon watches from Polar that I've used for years, along with my Apple products, and they all give you a fairly accurate indication or reading of what your heart rate is while you're training. And the point is, what you want to do is you want to get in between that 60 to 80% and stay there for at least 30 minutes. When you do that, you give your brain, your hippocampus, the opportunity to create new brain cells. You're creating something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factors. When you create that right environment, you can give your brain the opportunity to grow new brain cells. And I've talked about this before. That's great for if you've got any kind of dementia or Alzheimer's history in your family. You want to continue to build new brain cells throughout the rest of your life, so that that disease has more brain matter to work through, and hopefully you'll live longer than it takes that brain or that disease to take your brain down. So the idea with neuroplasticity is understanding that exercise is like Miracle-Gro for your brain. The more you do it every day, the better brain health you're going to have. And the whole book Spark was written on the idea of, or the notion that exercise is really for your brain health. And I would agree with that. Exercise is about your current physicality. So if you're doing a certain sport and you want to get better at that sport, exercise is really good to improve those skill sets. If you're exercising just to be mobile and be able to get up if you fall down, or have quick twitch reflex muscles to catch yourself if you trip, you can do exercises that are specifically designed to help you stay mobile longer in life. But the big benefit is the brain health. And if you think about when I train as a triathlete now, I don't train to get on the podium. I don't train to get to the world championships. I train to stay in that 60 to 80% heart rate zone, so that I get as much BDNF as I can while enjoying sports that I enjoy being a part of. That's how I sort of marry those two things together. I don't need to stand on the podium. My ego's not that great. What I do want to do is I want to enjoy youthful activities for the rest of my life and be able to play with kids at the age of 20 to 30 years old who are doing this sport and feel like I fit in. So the idea is you want to make sure that you're exercising in a way that gets you that BDNF that keeps you between 60 and 80% of your target heart rate zone. And if you feel like you're hitting those numbers every day, if you can actually see that you're hitting those numbers every day, regardless of your current physicality, you're going to feel like a winner every single day. The next thing I want to talk about is how exercise impacts stress management. So obviously when you exercise actually helps to regulate cortisol in the brain. Cortisol is a stress chemical that if it's constantly being released, right, it's going to keep you on edge all day long, and that's not good. What exercise will do is it will help to regulate cortisol being released into your brain, which is what you want to have happen. The other thing is endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that you get from exercise start getting released. So not only are you reducing the stress, but you're creating chemicals that are making you feel better about yourself. I can tell you from personal experience, there hasn't ever been a time where I finished a workout and went, oh, geez, am I ever disappointed I did that? There have been many times where I didn't feel like doing it to start with, but there's never been a case where when I was done, I went, oh, that was just a bad idea. So you want to set yourself up for managing stress by just going out and doing the activity that you love to do it in a way that's reaching that target heart rate zone, so you're sort of giving the best that you can based on your physicality today. And that's going to help you to manage your stress by reducing cortisol and releasing endorphins that are going to make you feel better and improve your mood. And that brings me to point number 3. Exercise actually is used as a mood regulator. Studies have been done that actually show that exercise is as effective as antidepressants for people who have mild to moderate depression. So the idea is when you exercise, again, you're releasing those endorphins, right, that also get released through chemicals, I suppose. I haven't taken any of those other drugs, but I've suffered with mild and moderate depression throughout my life. And I've really found that when I get in a bad mood when I don't exercise, because I crave those endorphins, I crave those mood improving supplements that are naturally produced in my body whenever I exercise. So part of feeling self-motivated to want to do the work is craving that feeling that I get when I'm finished, and knowing that that feeling is going to stick around for a good part of the day. And that's why another reason why I think it's really hard to, when I exercise, I think of when I used to play hockey at 10 o'clock at night and we'd finish at 11. I found it really hard to go to sleep because not only was my heart racing, my heart rate was up and accelerated because I was doing a highly anaerobic sport for an hour, but the endorphins were just rushing through my body. And that wasn't putting me in a good place to fall asleep. So I always found that when I played hockey on Thursday nights, I had a really bad night's sleep just because I was pumped up and ready to go and take on the world. And it was actually the time that I should have been falling asleep. I wished that we had played hockey at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. So that set me up for success for the rest of my day. So yeah, when you think about how exercise might be impacting your day, if you do exercise later in the evening, and unfortunately they do give adults later time slots when it comes to gym space, rink space, because we do stay up later than kids do. Unfortunately, that puts us into a situation where we're doing things later in the day, and that's going to affect our sleep pattern. So, just thinking about the timing of things throughout the day can help you make better decisions towards what activities are going to help you feel like you're moving forward, and what ones are actually going to maybe help you regress a little bit when it comes to things like sleep. So think about trying to exercise earlier in the day versus later in the day, and I think you're going to find not only does your mood improve, but your sleep habits improve as well. Exercise also improves your cognitive function. So when you think about it, your decision-making process, your ability to focus, those things all improve when you exercise. Again, if you exercise first thing in the morning and then schedule your hardest activities immediately following exercise, or if you exercise at noon over the lunch break and then schedule some harder activities right after that exercise, that's the best time of the day for your brain to be problem solving, because you've got all those endorphins racing through your brain. Your brain is primed for problem solving at this point. And that's another reason why exercising at night might be a bad thing, is because that's what turns your brain on to thinking about solving problems in a quiet house, and that might cause you not to fall asleep. But if you exercise in the morning, you prime yourself for that problem solving, that ability to go out and take on challenges, do hard work, get it done, get it over with, and then move on throughout your day. So, obviously timing is everything. And that ability to solve problems, have an effective decision-making process, right? That all comes from feeling like you are just taking on the world. And that all comes from the result of exercise. The last thing we're going to talk about when it comes to exercise and mental health is how it impacts resilience. Now, resilience is your ability to face adversity, make your way through that adversity, and then learn and get on the other side of that and start feeling like you're moving forward again. Well, when you think about it, every time, if you hate the idea of exercise, that's adversity. And every time you set yourself up to either feel like a failure, it's going to get harder and harder and harder to stay self-motivated to keep moving forward. So let's say you set a New Year's goal for yourself to start exercising, whatever it might be, but you hate the idea of exercise and you're not seeing the goals immediately enough. Well, that brings us to why we're doing this right here. Remember, self-motivation, we have our community, right? Our social incentive to work together. We've got immediate rewards, right? We're on day number 5. If this was an exercise challenge, I'm on day number 5. That makes me feel good, right? That I'm moving forward. I can see the progress monitoring here, but I can feel good because I did a good thing today. And then I can look back and go, yeah, this is really awesome. But this is how exercise can impact your brain's ability to be resilient, because you look at the proof that things are moving forward. If I'm using my heart rate monitor to see that I'm between 60 and 80% of my maximum heart rate while I'm exercising, yeah, I may not be the fastest guy on the track. I might be the slowest guy in the track. Doesn't matter. I'm doing what I can do based on my physicality today, and that's what matters the most. Over time, you'll see improvements. The problem is most of us are too impatient to see those or wait for those improvements to happen. If they don't see something immediately going up or down today, and that might be the scale, which is complete bogus, because that's all on a daily basis. All that is water weight going up and down. You've got to take your scale and look at it month to month to month and factor in a lot of things like, what time of day am I doing this? Have I retained water? Am I not retaining water? There's much more scientific methods to manage your weight than thinking that exercise is going to do that for you. And typically when you see swings on the scale, that's just hydration. We're made up of 90% water, and that's just the body regulating its water every day. But from a mental standpoint, being self-motivated, being resilient, all those things come from the ability to look at immediate rewards and see progress. Know that the days are adding up, and as they add up, they'll add up either in your favor if you're following a good recipe, or they're going to work against you if you're not doing anything at all. You're going to get stuck and you're going to fall further behind. So again, this series is all about how we develop more self-motivation, and each one of these tactics that I'm showing you every day are another piece of the puzzle to think about as you think about, how can I stay motivated? How can I stay self-motivated to keep doing things that nobody's forcing me to do other than myself? So if you're enjoying this video series so far, if you've started a challenge, I would love for you to tell me in the comments below what challenge you might have started for yourself. If you've got a new resolution, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. If you've got a New Year's resolution that you're going to start, let me know that in the comments below, and let's see if we can help you get there over the next 30 days, so that not only does this become a challenge that you can do for 30 days, but it can become a lifestyle, a way of life for you, and you can stay self-motivated to look back one day and go, wow, I did all these things. I never thought that was possible for my life. How did that happen? That's the journey that I've gone through, is I'm trying to understand how all this happened. And as I'm learning all the bits of science that back what I did, I'm just trying to share that with people so that you don't have to go through the same learning curve that I went through trying to find information. I've found it, now I'm just sharing it as it makes sense to me. So tomorrow, in the video right here, we're going to be talking about something called periodized training. Essentially, what that means is, when you sit down and plan the next 30 days for whatever challenge you're going to go through, I want you to start with the end in mind and work back from there. It's reverse engineering, so that you can make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure, but you're setting yourself up for success. So you'll find that in tomorrow's video. Thanks everybody. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again in tomorrow's video. Bye for now.